Every day I keep moving up. Monday to Sunday, steady balling. If I'm gonna be on one check one news. I'm a
I went through 7 seas and 7 mountains to get this video like this. I cannot see the other side. So I'm praying and hoping that you can see me well and that this is going well. And if you notice, I'm using 2 microphones today. I don't want to hear story. I can off my sound. You're welcome to My Life Continues Everyday podcast, the video podcast. I am Amanda Elo. Let's go and come back.
My life. My life will continue every day.
My life continues every day.
Well, my life continues every day.
We move.
My life continues every day with Amanda Elo.
Hey, eventful weeks before now, because I think the last time I recorded the video, the last video was recorded some 3 weeks ago, so maybe you saw it 2 weeks ago. But I fell ill, very ill. My friend, oh God help him. He came around, he would bring food, he would take me there, he would take me here, he would give me medicine, and I don't like taking medicine. I'm one of those. It was so hard. Very hard. The day I threw up, like I started throwing up really terribly around say 10 p.m. because we were coming back from his house. I went to his house and his brother, both of them had to even babysit me. So when we were coming back, I threw up somewhere and then he said, nah, you're going to the hospital. The next day, my father was calling, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. I was scared of hospital. But I eventually, I had to because I saw myself dying, whatever. Whether it's the AA malaria thing or this is, I don't know. In fact, I was just ill. It was terrible. Got to the hospital, was diagnosed with serious malaria. And guys, I slept over. Yes, so I was on admission, but it was just denied because I had to take drip and all of that. Thanks to my other friend, Chidera. This is a shout out to you. She and her mother, they took care of me so much, made sure I ate well, and took my drugs. Why am I saying all of this? There are 3 things you're going to learn from today's episode, apart from the story. The dogs are barking. Remember, this is where I live, and I'm so sorry, but lover of dogs. Those who don't love dogs, sorry. Back to the conversation. Okay, back to the conversation. Okay, I learned 3 things. I learned 3 things this period. First, you cannot do life alone. I'm that person. I love to go solo. I don't want stress. I don't want to stress you. Please don't stress me. I love to go solo. Do my thing, come whatever way it comes out, okay? But I want to do it alone because I don't want you stressed, because when I want it, you might not want it. And I don't want to beg you. And you know, my dear people, my dear people in the Lord, you cannot do life alone. Sometimes you need people. That's what I've done recently, and that's what saved me. Had people take care of me when I was sick. I wanted to do it alone. I would have died. In recent times, I have discovered that people who follow me on my social media platforms, they've seen this before. Collaboration over competition. That's what we need, especially in Nigeria today with the current economy. We need to collaborate. You have the money, this person has the skill, put it together and produce value. We've not learned it yet in this part of the world. And I don't blame us because money is important. Because if you don't talk of money, some people will use you. They will use you. But if you can, overlook the money, okay, and check other resources you get. There's value, there's growth, there's productivity. Because at the end of the day, okay, let me give you an example. This week I went for, or rather last Sunday, yes, we went for Tiger Foods mayonnaise tasting party. I hope I got it right. Yes, Tiger Foods. You should check the mayonnaise, by the way. It was amazing. We're giving so many things. Where is the kind thing safe? Let me show you people first. I hope I'm not out of frame. So, this is free adverts, but because I loved what I saw. This is Tiger Spices. We're giving souvenirs. This was happening in Awka, Anambra State, Nigeria. Mayonnaise for bread. And so many other things here. Spices, corn, and everything, you know. So, you know, I went with some of my friends. We had a good time. We're giving souvenirs. I bought some things too, you know. There, I met somebody who was my Facebook friend. Okay, we've never really talked. I see her on Facebook. She's a makeup artist. I just called her Facebook name, and she of course, she didn't know me. She was like, "Oh yeah, give me your number, and all of that." And then she loved the makeup I had. That day, I had made up Enchantique_E. That's the name on Instagram. Enchantique_E. My friend Edna. She's also a makeup artist. She had made me up for that day. Oh my God, I didn't tell you people. Oh my God. I featured in a web series called Class of Secrets. There's so much to talk about. Class of Secrets. Yes, you might have seen this. If you've not, please go to Imagination TV on YouTube and watch it. Go and watch it. That's what I said about collaboration. Ben Efewankwo, the director of the film, is my friend, a fellow filmmaker. We did a lot of collaborations, and this is one of them, okay? It was amazing. Value was added, and I gave value, and that's it. So go see the web series. It keeps coming up, okay? Episode by episode, weekly. So go check it out. Class of Secrets. So the launch party was on Saturday, the 5th of August. I went for it, and Edna, the makeup artist, coincidentally my friend, was the makeup artist for the web series. She made me up for the next day, for the launch party. I took so many beautiful pictures. I looked so beautiful, guys, thanks to her. So her name is Enchantique. Enchantique and I now went for the celebration now on Sunday, the next day, the tasting party that I'm talking about. And then this other makeup artist, a different person, Legit Touch saw me. She said, "I love this makeup on you." I introduced her to my friend who's a makeup artist. I just wanted them to know themselves because, of course, they can collaborate. That's my point. So afterwards, the next day or 2 days after, she sends me a message because she now has my WhatsApp number. She sent me a message. "Let's do this. Are you ready? Are you free for a face bid? Just be my model." I said, "Okay," because I was chanced that day. In fact, that was the day I was supposed to do this episode, but then things didn't go as planned because I wanted to use the makeup to show, to show myself, but it's okay. You're still going to see the makeup. I'm going to show you a video of what it looks like. You're probably seeing it now. So Legit Touch and I, while we're doing this, I think it's now my new gospel. I was talking to her about collaborations and how people in Anambra, for instance, and Nigeria as a whole, it's still a problem for us because some of us have been used. It's not a lie. People's talents have been used over time. But I've learned that if we want to move further, we need collaboration. I was talking to her and she was so impressed. So she had a friend who was making hair. This is not the hair, by the way. But you see, when you see the video, there's a hair I used, a very long flowing hair. Yes. She was making the hair at the time. So after the makeup session, she loved it and she was like, "Oh my God, you're so pretty. Since we're talking of collaboration, do you mind being a model too for the hair?" And guys, if the makeup was a 60 before, it was actually 100. But if it was 100, in fact, before, it became 171 or 200 after I put that hair on. You should see it. And that, my friends, is the power of collaboration. So shout out to Legit Touch, a makeup artist. You could check her out on Instagram, Legit Touch, or even YouTube, Legit Touch. Then shout out to Francisca Currency. That's her name on Instagram. The brand name is Currency Hairs. So that hair, if you loved that hair, you know who to meet now. I've had so many people I've worked with, and that's what I want to start doing: collaborations and sponsorships and partnerships. That is it. That's how we're going to move. So I've learned that you cannot do life alone. We need ourselves to make it work. But make sure not to let anybody abuse you. And do not abuse any other person's talent or abuse any person because they've given you the free hand. That is wrong. Secondly, I've learned that people will not everybody will like you. You've probably heard this before, but not so, you've not paid attention. Not everybody loves you. You might remind somebody of their ex. You might remind somebody of their bad luck. You might just be that person that they want to be or they've always wanted to be, but for one reason or the other, they are not. It's okay because it happens to even you. Okay? You might just be good enough and graced enough, or you are just into Christ and into goodness that you don't show yours, or you don't even let it consume you. There are persons who will not love you. Why am I saying this? So the web series is out on YouTube, right? Class of Secrets. I was going through the YouTube comments. Now I know why some celebrities, those who are celebrities, actually take some drugs. They take pills, anxiety pills, because people say a lot of things. People who don't know you. People who do not even know what stuff you're made of. People who don't even think. will just hate on you for no reason. So there was this particular comment. The person said, because I was the teacher, Miss Lydia, in the film, you know my accent annoys some people. It's not my fault. I will speak English. If you don't like it, and who told us? Who has given anybody the permission to tell anybody how to speak? If I'm Igbo and I decide to speak, the point is, because of identity's sake, because of patriotism, identity's sake for starters, you should know how to speak your local language. Know how to speak your first language. Speak it well and speak it well. Okay? But nobody should tell anybody how to speak. So when I'm speaking, don't complain that my accent is not given or it's formed, it's fake. Make sure that you can hear what I'm saying. If you cannot, there's subtitle. I pray you find subtitle or you listen carefully. If you want to hear, you will hear. Whatever anybody's doing, I know people form and it's annoying, but it's okay. Who on earth told you that there is a particular way to talk, to speak, not talk actually? There are persons who have speech impediment. There are persons who, this is how they talk. And there are persons who speak English. You can't speak English. What is the problem? Even if they're not from England and they speak good English, how is it your problem? Even if they don't speak it as good as them, but approximately, how is it your problem? Stop hating, but it's okay. I understand. It's fine. People remind people of, so this person said, the teacher's voice just, they annoy me. Hey. And I wondered. And the other person said, even her facial expression. Well, that's them, okay? For any reason, for whatever reason. It could actually be for an artistic reason. I don't know what their reason is or their reasons are. But the point is, learn this today, that you make sure that you're in good terms with your God, with yourself, and with people of goodwill. Always ask the Holy Spirit to tell you the people of goodwill. Make sure not to hurt these 3 persons or personalities I mentioned, and move on. Not everybody will like you. You were not made on earth by them. And if you don't please the person who made you on earth, you're in for some big trouble. So don't listen to them and don't try to please them. I know we're humans and sometimes we want people to like us. I want it too. But you can't please everybody. I think I've talked too much, but that's the point, Sha. These things happen. The third thing I've realized is that... What's that third thing I said I would say? I've sure forgotten the third thing, but probably when I return from our first story today, I'll remember. And we'll talk about it. So, learn one thing or learn 2 things for now. Collaboration over competition. Try and collaborate with brands, like-minded brands, mind you. Don't just do it with anybody. Do it with like-minded brands. And check the energy too. If they're not giving you the same energy and you do it over time, let them go so you don't be insulted, so that nobody insults you. But if you can, collaborate. You know where you're going to. Now I have beautiful pictures with a hair that I'm not sure I can afford at the moment. Yes, I don't think I can afford it. But when that picture goes out, it might get me deals that would help me afford that hair or afford other things. That's how life works. Why am I talking about Tiger Foods? Tiger Foods had to collaborate with a certain restaurant here, Obalende Oka. It's called Obalende Oka. Yes, people in Lagos will be like, yes, there's an Obalende in Oka. It's a restaurant, it's a fast food, this thing, and it's an amazing place. I went there for the first time because of Tiger Foods, and I heard it was a collaboration. And that's how all these rich and big people do. They just sit back and like, okay, what do you have that then what do I have that you don't have, or that I can bring and you bring, and we put it together and we make something big and huge so that we can, reach out to a larger, number of persons. But me and you want to do this, want to collect, want to do, but I don't blame us, Sha. But just know that collaboration is important and everybody cannot like you. I'm trying to remember that third thing, but since I've not remembered yet, let's talk about today's story. Today's story is, it's sad. It's sad, but I'm happy she was brave enough to tell the story. I know this person on a personal level, and I know how much this person has also contributed to my being where I am, including this podcast, okay? But this person is passing through this, and I didn't even know until I listened to this. People are going through a lot. Be kind. Try to be kind. And I just have this message for her. God bless you. I think that's a message. God bless you. It's a big deal. You blessed me, and you will be blessed. And everything will turn out well. Because you and your mom are amazing people. I know bad things happen to good people. We don't know why yet. But in your case, it won't end badly, to end in praise, because I'm praying and I know you've also touched people's lives positively. They will also pray for you, and God is always listening. God listens. God listens. Let's listen to the story. On the comment section, feel free to say one or two things. Be nice, be kind. And if it's your kind of story too, if it's, similar to what you're going through, now you know you're not alone. And I pray we all get out of really terrible situations. I pray we all get out of really terrible situations and live to tell the story in praise and happiness through Christ our Lord. Amen. Let's listen to this first story. Remember, this is My Life Continues Everyday podcast. Tell people about it, and please leave your comment, share, react, and share your story. Also, you can send your story. You could write it out. Yes, I realize that some people do not want their voices heard, but I just didn't want to, because there are other persons who have the same platform as I do, like this, and then what they do is basically people send them stories, texts, If you feel better writing it out, please write it out. Of course, I will read it out anonymously. Nobody knows your name. I am the only person who is known, Amanda Elu. Okay, so feel free to send it to my Gmail. I am amandaelu@gmail.com. If you have a story to share, it is either you write it or you do say like a 6-minute voice of the story. Don't say your name, and send to that same email address. Okay. Then anytime you're ready to feature on this podcast, you want to show your face, let me know. All of these things are allowed, but just do what you're brave enough to do. And please, your life continues every day. Let's listen to the story.
Alright, hi guys. So apparently I'm supposed to do a 10 minutes voice recording for this. I just hope I can round it up within 10 minutes. So this is to all those out there going through one problem or the other, one facing one issue or the other, and still coming out strong, or asking yourself, what have I done? Why was I born into this? Why am I living this life? But just remember that whatever your case is, there are people with worse cases. I'm not here to judge anybody or say you shouldn't express yourself the way you're feeling, but I'm going to tell you my life story. So far, it might be one part, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you my life story, and you will understand where I'm coming from when I say no matter what you're going through, you should always give thanks. So I was born by a single mother, and I know my mom was always honest and vocal about anything that had to do with my life. So I remember growing up, knowing stuff, going to school, being around kids, being called a couple of names. Oh, bastard was always there, because at every point during any school visitation that needed parents to come, my mom was always the only one that would come around. And kids talk, kids ask silly questions, or kids are curious. So they will always ask why. Like, oh, your dad doesn't come. And some kids are actually ill-mannered or bad or just demonic, So in those, I might have an altercation with one of them, or, and the name bastard would always come up. And I asked the meaning of that word, and I was told. And I went home one day and asked my mom, where is my dad? And that was the first time I ever asked her that sort of question, and she broke down. But you see, the thing is, my mom is my hero. For anything, she never lied to me. about who my dad was, or she never for one day poisoned my mind over my dad, but she told me the truth. Oh, your dad abandoned us when you were still 4 months in the womb and never came back. Supposedly he traveled to South Africa, and that was the last thing she heard from him. And so she raised me by herself with the help of at least her siblings. We weren't like, I wasn't born with a silver spoon per se, but my mom was a strong woman. My mom was someone who wouldn't want me to suffer. She tried as much as possible. She did a very good job at playing both father and mother roles. But the truth is, there will still be a vacuum, no matter how, I tell people, no matter how bad your father may seem, having someone in your life or as a father figure is also always awesome. He might be deadbeat, he might be demonic or whatever, but having him there is great. So I grew up not knowing what fatherly love feels like. Anybody at that point that came into my mom's life to try to would always turn out bad. So through my life, I've not experienced I don't know what a happy marriage is. I don't know what a family is. I don't know what having a dad feels like, or I don't know what it seems like, So my mom's story is a very tricky one, which I wouldn't want to share because it's not my story to share, but all you have to know is she was married actually before at a young age. She married at 24, and something happened. There was another woman. She left. There was a case of infidelity with the other woman and the husband. She left. She tried to get a divorce, but the man wouldn't accept it, and so they just remained separated. And this other man, her husband, so to say, went on ahead with the other woman and started a family. And she met my own father, and she kept raising me, and I know how many times people said a lot of nasty things to her, a lot of nasty things to me, but why I say my mom is a superhero is, for one day, she never denounced God. I was brought up in prayer. I was brought up in a way that even in the deepest and darkest of times, you pray, and it wasn't an easy time. It wasn't always easy. I remember the times, like I used to, before it was as an adult, I found out that red oil rice was native rice or so, but then my mom would call it Ghana rice. Maybe there wasn't food in the house, or she'll always find a way to uplift my spirit. She'll make it in such a way that it would be so nice. If we were suffering, I wouldn't know, Some other days would, like, she made drinking Gary so special that I used to look forward to it. Some other days, when times were awesome, would eat yam and red oil. She would garnish it with onion and fresh pepper, and it would be so awesome. I used to look forward to all of those things because of the way she presented it. Then after 34 years of being separated from this man, he came back and asked for forgiveness. He wants his wife back. He was still very much in love with her, blah 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 blah. A lot of nasty things or said were asked to be forgiven for. And yeah, my mom, being a virtuous woman, being someone that, she said she made a promise to God on the altar that this is going to be for better or for worse, because my mom has this idea of, if I die I have to go to heaven, I don't want to suffer twice in life, accepted this man. And here is when the story gets interesting. So so like I said, this is going to exceed 10 minutes, pardon me guys, but it's an interesting story. It's, albeit sad, but interesting, believe you me. So after all the bed pleading, from initially her dad didn't like this man, like that was in the earlier days, because my granddad perceived him as someone who was rude and proud and disrespectful, and didn't have a good character. But my mom was like, he is someone that's, he's coming from a good family, or so she thought. He's coming from a family where they have priest, or we also have priest, like a Catholic family, or a family that also believes in God. So my mom, being that she loves God so much, and he was like, out of all her suitors, he was the only one that kind of was up to her level in like, he wasn't so wealthy, and he was still getting his life up, because my mom wanted someone to build with, So, but surprisingly, the second time he came around, my granddad was, you're getting older, and in life I wouldn't support you to make a wrong choice. Just to be right with God, like to be right with God and forgive and move on with your life, accept him. And after all the coercion and my mom being talked to and appeals, lots of appeals, and sadly I also had a hand in him coming back, for my mother, because I think one day I we're chatting. He always used to text me. I knew who he was. I've seen his pictures. I've seen him, like videos of him, and my mom's marriage album. So I know that this is my mom's husband. But that very day, randomly, I asked him. He was talking to me, and then I asked him randomly, when are you coming for your wife? That was just it. And till now, he claims that was the start of, that was what gave him courage to come back for my mom, So, but now the interesting part is, he made a lot of promises. He's going to make up for the times my mom has lost, not having to, meanwhile, my mom didn't bother settling down again or trying to give birth to another child. And I didn't tell you guys, I'm an only child. The only child of my mother, So, and neither did she want to adopt as well. Even if I pleaded for, all my life, please just adopt, so I'll have a sibling. So now the thing is, here, this man came back to beg and plead that he be accepted. He be accepted again, And my mom, being a good woman whom she is, believed him and his promises. And this man has not done any of those things he said he would do. He has constantly left me helpless, because I see my mom going through stuff that she shouldn't be going through, even as an adult. He's sadistic. I figured that he was very good at pretending. He's really pretentious. He's sadistic. He's violent. I've seen my mom go through domestic abuse, even as an older woman. I've seen my mom neglected. I've seen my mom in pain. I've seen my mom cry to God and beg, when does this end? Why did I get sucked into this again? I've been helped. I've been helpless because I can't do anything. One of the occasions where in my front he pushed my mom, he choked my mom, and I sent him a voice note. I said, see, you're not going to kill my mother, and I love this woman so much because she has been awesome to me, and I wouldn't have anybody harm her, saying I can kill for my mother. So he took, and then pleading that he be nicer to my mom, he took that voice note to whomever wanted to listen, and made sure that everybody around had listened to it, and then hated me. This man has called me to work for him and has fired me, from work, and he has been very nasty, and I think for me the whatever, how they say, that broke the camel's back was him asking me to leave his house and never come back. Why? Because on one occasion I hadn't seen my mom for the longest. Mind you, this is someone who is a sadist. Like, you can't stay with him, you can't be with him. He doesn't like when, if my mom and I are sitting down and we're laughing, it's a problem. He complains, not just behind. Like, he comes out, oh, why are you guys sitting down? Why are you laughing? Like, why are you here? You have to, kind of a slave master, because you have to work all the time when you're around him. He doesn't believe that, oh, why are you sitting idle? Why are you sitting down not doing? You have to do. My mom spends all her time in the kitchen from breakfast to dinner. She never leaves. Yeah. And she tries her best. At some point my mom was out from her job, and this man knew, but he stopped giving her money to take care of the house. She would steal from things she does, or the salary she has, to provide for. And this is a big house, and this is someone who's on a diet. So in general, I wouldn't break things into pieces, bits and pieces, but I've seen my mom suffer in the hands of this man. He tells my mom, oh, he doesn't want to go back to doing all of this. Oh, he has done it before, he doesn't want to be dragged back. And this is the same person that said, oh, I'm going to make it up. Like, the years you lost, I'm going to be nicer to you. I'm going to take care of you. And he has done nothing of such, He has just been a pain. He has been a source of suffering. He has been a source of cries, tears. I see my mom cry. Sometimes she hides it from me. Ooh, my mom has been told so many nasty words, has been beaten, pushed, shoved, choked. But because she has this idea of, oh, but for better for worse, she still neglects all the cries and calls for her to leave this man, because she doesn't want to sin against God. And I've been helpless, because if I want to do what I want to do, I'm asked, oh, by her siblings or by my mom. You don't do that, because whatsoever happens still goes back to him blaming my mom. So on that occasion, I digressed, sorry. On that occasion, I came to see my mom, spend time with them. And one day he came up to my room and he was like, oh, you've really overstayed your welcome. And this was someone whom he has been very petty, very petty to me, and I neglected just because several times I want to leave. My mom would beg me, oh, don't do this, you're hurting me. It just feels like if you leave, it makes me feel like I don't have anybody, you're the only source of joy I have, so please stay around me, And he came, and I was like, oh, okay, fine, no problem, I'm going to leave. And I left to my aunt's place, and from there I went back to my own house. luckily for me, I have a place to stay. So, and this is not actually the first time he would do something like that. In the past, though, during the days of him committing adultery with that other woman, apparently my uncle challenged him one time. My uncle was staying with them at that time. But he waited, and by midnight it was raining. From the stories I've heard, he chased my uncle out of his house. Not just that, he went ahead and went to where my uncle was working and warned my uncle's employer to fire my uncle. If not, he would do one thing. And my uncle was fired, so he was stranded. He didn't have a place to stay. He didn't have work to go to, or so this man constantly tries to isolate my mother. So kind of the story, if you picture the story of Osinachi, the singer, picture my mom. Yeah, that's it. Now as an adult, a lot of you will listen to this and say, oh, why won't you do something? But it's a case that you are helpless, you are handicapped, you can't do anything. And in this case, still struggling to kind of provide for myself, provide for my mother, I lost my job. Yeah, I lost my job. So business wasn't working. I running a business, it wasn't working. I'm jobless. I've cut into my savings. I'm broke, and you see your mom suffering, you can't help. Every day you cry, you go from job application to job application. Like right now, I don't know where my next rent is coming from. But in all of this, I know, yes, there have been times I cry to God. I'm like, why are you still letting this to happen? Like, bless me for my mother, because she has been nothing short of a virtuous woman. My mom is more virtuous than I am. Believe you me, I'm not bragging or over exaggerating. Yeah. And I wouldn't tell you that it's been a joyride, because on the outside, when people see me, I look okay. I look really happy. I look provided for. But I've been living with depression, been going through from one episode to another episode, because it just seems like nothing is working out, for me. And you're seeing your mother continually live in suffering. Recently my mom was sick. She was admitted to the hospital. She told him that she was sick. He yelled at her and left the house. My mom had to, in that state of high fever, shivering and no strength, she drove herself to the hospital. She was alone in the hospital. I had to rush back to come stay with her in the hospital, because I cried when I found out that she was alone in the hospital, because it's kind of like, oh, you don't have someone, you're all alone. And I didn't want my mom feeling like that, because thank God she has me, so I wouldn't leave her. This man wouldn't come to visit her in the hospital, wouldn't ask if she had eaten. He comes to bring the food because the house help, that was twice, comes to bring the food because the house help pack the food for my mom, and he just drops it and leaves. And when on the day she was supposed to be discharged, she told the house help not to go to church that day, so she could when she comes home, she would not be outside. And he called her. He came back from church that day and just with his brother came to the hospital and was like, what are you still doing here? Let's go home. And my mom's like, I'm waiting for her. I'm waiting for my daughter. That's me. I sent her to go buy fuel for me, in the car. So he was like, then she can bring the car home. Let's go home. She said, no, she can't. She's waiting for me. And he didn't say, how are you? Are you better? How much is the hospital bill? Have you been discharged? all his own was, all he cared about was, let's go home so you continue slaving for me because I've not eaten good food, or because the helper has been the one making my food, stuff like that. So since my mom got back to his house, everything that he used to have or do, he stopped it. He practically said he wasn't going to bring any more helps or gate men. This was when my mom came back. She met a gate man, she met a steward, she met a help, but practically he turned my mom to the help, And yeah, I know those of you might listen to this and say, what is she still doing in this home? But it's very easy to say, oh, stand up and leave. But the problem is, leave to where? Leave to where? What do you have? This is someone that federal government wasn't paying for like a year plus. So practically she's eating into her savings. She's still using the said savings to take care of herself and this man and his elder brother, who is also living with them. So picture it. He doesn't take care of her. He doesn't give her money for feeding for the house. He doesn't fix her car. He doesn't fill her car. He doesn't provide. All he does is complain, be bitter, be sad, hit her when he can, complain again, like the cycle continues. And when you find yourself in a situation where you're helpless in all of this, for me, my advice is pray. Because sometimes where money comes from, I don't know, it just comes. My mom still finds a way to send me money. And with the help of someone else in my life, that has been a brother, a lover, and a friend. But I wouldn't say it's been a joyride, But in all of this, all I know is my life continues every day. Wow.
The only reason why I'm not crying yet is because I'm about to end this video. So I've listened to this story. Okay, this story was sent to me sometime in February 2023. But it's so fresh, it sounds so real, that's not the word. It sounds so relatable. It sounds, some of them sound relatable. There are good people, actually. I know good people. And then there are terrible people. But in all, I'm glad she's holding up. Just let us know. Just let us know what you think in the comment section. Please be nice and be kind. Yes, it's important. Be nice, be kind. You're not alone. Now you know. And sis, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I pray God gives you the strength. I pray God solves this issue for you and your beautiful mother. I pray also God somehow gives your father a good heart. Honestly, I pray it all ends in praise. I pray we all, because things are happening. Thank you so much for joining me today on My Life Continues Everyday podcast. This is what I do. This is what we do. We share stories. And now you know the kind of stories. Of course, you can share joyful stories. Some people share, step by step what has been happening to them in their life. Okay, I lost my job now. I got a job now, and all of that. Just keeping us, just so people get to be encouraged. You're not alone. You get better. You get better. And by God's grace, I hope to get a story from her, a follow-up story on how she is now. And as soon as it comes, I'll let you all know. But drop your comments. Be nice, be kind in the comment section. Please share this podcast. Talk to people about it and share a story if you can. I am Amanda Elo, and I appreciate you today. God bless you. Amazing. Just protect you. Yes, the third thing I was going to say is, you alone know your dream, your vision. Don't let anybody ruin it for you. Pray to God, ask the Holy Spirit for discernment, for counsel, for guidance. But it might not make sense. In the words of some people, You will explain, Taya, no evidence. I think that's where I am too, because what are you telling people that you're talking on YouTube, telling stories? How are you supposed to make money with it? But God is in control. I know it will make sense eventually. Hold on, and hold on to your vision, and hold on to that thing, that dream that you know. It's yours. It's free to dream. Dream, hold on, do what you can. And what I know is that consistency, effort, and hard work will help to an extent. The grace of God will handle the rest. God bless you, amazing. Just protect you. I'm Amanda Elo. I love you. And please let people know about this podcast.
You don't carry me from Onitsha down to Malaysia. You keep on blessing me from January to December. Many things you do for me where I don't fit remember.